Hello, and welcome back to the Precision Personal Training Podcast. This is episode number 40, and today's episode is going to be getting in shape versus staying in shape. Now, I had a lot of feedback on my podcast on how to set up successful fat loss. So, most people think that getting in shape and staying in shape are the same thing. That could be further from the point, or couldn't be further from the point. So, when you are trying to get in shape, you develop a mindset that when the time is right and when you're ready to go, you develop a mindset that you have a starting point and an end point. The hardest part is after the diet, and I suffered with this, it's like, what the hell is next? So when in 2024, I lost like 30, I went from 110 to 76.9. It was like 33, 32 kilos of fat loss. Got in the shape of my life. I was so glad I did it. During that point, me and my missus Laura went on a holiday. We went to Villamora for a week, and it was phenomenal. Beautiful place, beautiful country. I love Portugal. I love the people. It was class. During that week, I came out of the bubble of the routine that I was in. And it was a case of, wow, what the hell is next after this? And this is where I forced myself to find, why am I actually doing this? So I hit a point where it was like, okay, let's say now I get in shape, I'm happy, I get there. What the hell is next? Why am I training? What am I training for? And I had to revert back to when I was 15, 16. I wrote down in a diary that I literally wrote down, I want to build an impressive physique that I'm happy with. And I thought about that more, and it was like, I'm trying to build a physique that I'm happy with, but am I only happy with it for a photo at the end in a few weeks? Is that it? No. I'm building a physique that is going to keep me healthy for a lifetime and that I'm going to be proud of and I want to keep. So I would genuinely say to someone that getting in shape is way easier than staying in shape, because staying in shape requires you to think, wow, I'm doing this for a lifetime. I have to make serious lifestyle changes, and it's not a quick fix. This is a lifestyle change. This is me changing for the better, but for the rest of my life. So when you're getting in shape, it's exciting, it's visible, and it's progress each week. Staying in shape is a lot quieter, it's slower, and honestly, it is mentally harder. So I've coached enough people over the years to spot this pattern. It's not because you're lazy, it's because you never switched your mindset. I was so glad that I had that holiday with Laura for the week, because it required me to switch my mindset from, I have an end goal, I'm thinking October, 10 months dieting, 30 kilos, like this is phenomenal, boom, 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 boom. That holiday forced me to be like, oh my God, what the hell are you going to do after this? Because I've seen it. People can get very down the dumps and they lose themselves a bit, because it's like, what the hell? This has been my personality for the last while. This is who I am. This is all I've talked about. What happens then? So for me, I definitely doubled down on my coaching, which allowed me to shift my focus. I want to be a better coach, better business owner, better person, better boyfriend, better brother, son, friend. So it forced me to go down that trail of thought and make that my next thing. And then I'm training for health. Your health is your wealth. I'm training for health. I'm training for longevity, but I still want to look good. I just want to keep improving my physique constantly. It wasn't this end goal, the photo shoot I did, the bodybuilding show I did. That wasn't the be all and end all. So the fact that I could switch my mindset on that holiday was phenomenal, because when the diet ended, I was like, yeah, thank God, that's done now. I can get on to the other things that I wanted to do. It wasn't a case of what am I left with. So today I want to break down that difference and how you rewire your mindset for that. It's not about workouts. This is about psychology and your identity and what actually lasts. What actually is getting in shape. I'm not going to go into the detail like I went into with the previous podcasts I've done. I'm going to get into the planning, the mindset, and that's it. So usually you start because something's triggered you. You're like, clothes aren't fitting how they want you, sir, how they wanted. You felt uncomfortable in your body. Motivation might hit you with January. A lot of my clients, they see a photo of themselves that they absolutely hate. Look, maybe you just hit a point where it was like, enough is enough. There's energy there, but you have a clear goal, you have a timeline, and you're willing to be aggressive. Like, people come in and they're so motivated, they're ready to go, and then after the first kind of 2-3 weeks, it's like, oh, what's happening here? And that's why progress happens at the start very fast, because you're paying attention. You're tracking food, you're hitting your gym sessions, you say no more often, you feel disciplined because the goal feels close. And being honest with you, that phase, that dieting phase, getting in shape phase, is phenomenal. It's a class buzz. The scale moves, people start to notice, and then you feel a bit of momentum. I've clients where people will be coming up to me and they're like, geez, that guy looks great, he told me he's with you. And I'm like, yeah, he's flying it. It's afterwards that's so important for that person, because it's like, what happens when people get used to you being in shape and then the compliments stop? And then it's the mindset up there that we got to work on to keep what we've built. So the hidden reality with getting in shape, it's temporary by design. Like, you can't be in a fat loss phase forever. You just can't. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable. You're not going to do it. It's a phase. And a lot of people treat it like a project. They think, I'll just push hard for a while, get lean, and then relax. But the problem is, your old habits, they're there on your shoulder waiting for you, and they're talking to you. They're like, oh, get us back in. Takeaways every day over the weekend. You don't need to cook. You've cooked Monday to Friday. You've done fakeaways. Get back having takeaways again. Getting in shape relies heavily on motivation and a bit of momentum as well. These things do not last forever. Getting in shape is very goal driven. Staying in shape is identity driven. I mentioned this in the last podcast I did there, where I wanted to change my identity. I want to be known as the personal trainer who's going to call you up. He's going to basically motivate you. He's going to be the man you can trust with your hard-earned money to get you in shape, train. You're going to train hard. You're going to have a good session. We're going to have a bit of crack. You're going to be in a nice facility. It's going to be clean. Machines are wiped down. I couldn't do that. Let's say I'd be 100% in your PT session there, mentally as well. I couldn't do that if I was going out getting shit-faced drunk, taking drugs, and just playing holy hell at the weekends. I couldn't do that. That wouldn't be my identity. My identity would be, let's say, the Monday to Friday PT. I want to be known as a beacon of health, well-being, and improving yourself. That's my identity. That's what I want to be known as. That's where you need to be thinking lifelong habits. Lifelong habits will get you to lifelong results, but it requires lifelong choices. Getting in shape, staying in shape, it's the exact same principle. So staying in shape is very different to getting in shape, no matter what anyone tells you. There's no big finish line, which is scary for some people, because a lot of people want to know, like, okay, when is this done? When does this finish? When can I stop? There's no dramatic progress each week, even like, let's say, with your training. It's going to be incremental gains over time. Like, let's say if you drop a kilo in a week, you're like, oh my God, I just dropped a kilo. This is great. Whereas, like, if you go up 2.5 kilos in your bench press, it's not that big a deal for you. Then there's no constant compliments. You're not chasing change anymore. You're maintaining standards. This is where most people actually struggle, because maintenance, it feels boring. And on the last podcast, I literally said boring is what gets results. You go from obvious progress in weight loss, people noticing your clothes, your physique, your face, your arms, whatever, to subtle progress. You train, but nothing dramatic happens. Your body isn't transforming anymore. You're just keeping it. And mentally, that's a different challenge. Like, when I see it all the time, and just even speak for myself, because I like using myself as an example. Clients, I'll use transformations and clients' reviews and journeys, but I like bringing it back to myself, because like I've given you transparent personal journeys and experiences. But when I lost all the weight, it was class when people are coming up saying, geez, you look great, you've lost sight of weight, you look mighty, fair play to you, Kyle. But then afterwards, it's like, yeah, it's a given that he trains, stays in shape. And like that's where you have to be your own sporter, because no one's going to do it as much for you. Like no one really cares. So that's a challenge in rewiring that mindset. And I was able to notice that during the fat loss phase, which I was very grateful for, because it made finishing it and my life afterwards, it was 2 years ago, a lot easier. We're going to get into the psychological shift from getting in shape versus staying in shape. When you're getting in shape, motivation carries you. When you're staying in shape, habits carry you. You don't wake up excited every day. You just train because that's what you do. That's who you are now. You don't eat well because you're dieting. You eat well because it's normal to you. The people who stay in shape long term stop negotiating with themselves. Training isn't optional anymore. It's just part of who they are. And this is where the podcast with Harry was phenomenal, because Harry, no matter what, going through the cancer treatments he went through, becoming an amputee, he trained because it was who he was, because it kept him ticking mentally. He had to train. That's just who he was, and it was a complete identity shift. Anyone that, like, let's say, starts training and wants to get in shape, they're thinking, I'm getting in shape because I want to, or I'm training because I want to get in shape. Afterwards, then it's like, I'm training because it's just who I am. And one of my clients, Luke, he won't mind me saying this, Luke, he came to me, he wanted to lose weight. He got a phenomenal result. I still use it to this day. Like, he's an absolute beast. The guy went and done Ironmans, marathons. He ran the Dublin City Marathon. This is nothing to do with my coaching. He got started, he got in shape, and then it was on him. He made the identity shift that he's a guy that's known for a beast. He trains, he runs, he can swim, can cycle. Like, he made the identity shift of who he was, and it's allowed him to stay in shape. The guy still looks phenomenal year round. Anytime I see him, he still looks lean, he still looks jacked. And that is savage. That is way better than anyone getting, like, let's say, a 10-week result, getting in shape, and it's great. That is way better, seeing that for me as a coach, that guy went on to do it himself and got in phenomenal shape and stayed in it, is just, it's class. Why people regain weight or fall off the bandwagon is it's a cycle. So people push hard, they reach the goal, then they remove the structure that got them there. They stop tracking, they train less, and they celebrate the end of, let's say, getting in shape by relaxing completely. And slowly, old habits come back. Not because they failed, they could have dieted very successfully. It's just because they're following rules instead of building an identity. If fitness only exists when you're trying, it will disappear when life gets busy. So, like, let's say, for example, if you're someone that is trying to change their physique, get in shape, and then as soon as things don't go your way and you hit a point where, like, work gets busy, things are out of your control, and you were only doing fitness to get somewhere, not change completely your identity, you lose where you were, and you'll fall back into old habits very, very quickly. Getting in shape is outcome focused. Staying in shape is process focused. And you need to remember that when you start your diet, start trying to build muscle. Getting in shape is high intensity. Staying in shape is moderate but consistent. So when you're trying to lose fat, you're guns blazing, you're gung-ho, you're flying it. When you're trying to maintain the physique you've built, you're like, I'm ticking my boxes, but I don't need to be as full on anymore. And this is where I got from Shane Story. He says, people like preach, like, let's say, flexible dieting, but you have to be a bit rigid before you can be flexible. So you get in shape and then you can be flexible, because maybe you've been too flexible throughout the years, and that's what's led you to not being in shape or not being happy with where you're at. So getting in shape feels exciting. Staying in shape feels normal. So they're the things that you need to be reinforcing yourself. Like, they're the true differences between getting in shape versus staying in shape. The identity shift that you go through. So this is the real turning point for someone who wants to keep what they've built. People who stay in shape don't constantly think about fitness. It's second nature. It's automatic. You wake up, I know, like, the point I'm at with my training, with my life, I know if I don't train 4 days in a week, I'm going to feel like crap. That's just who I am. That's my identity now. I have to get 4 sessions in no matter what. People who stay in shape, they don't wake up and ask, should I train today? It's automatic. You know, like, let's say with my work, I kind of train Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. That's who I am. Mondays and Thursdays, just carnage in the gym. And to be honest, I just like scheduling them in as rest days, because I feel like Monday is a crap day. Thursday is nearly Friday, so that's kind of crap. So that's just who I am. I don't even think about it. And that's what you need to get your mindset to when you get in shape. Because that to me is successful fat loss, successful muscle building. It's like, I'm in shape now, but I can keep it. And this is why I can keep it, because I don't think about it anymore. I just do. And it becomes part of your identity. There's someone, and then someone who stays in shape. There's someone who moves, someone who values strength and has standards. So, like, let's say now, you know yourself, like, we hear the magic 10,000 steps. That turns a lot of people off. But I think if you're someone that wants to stay in shape and you're telling me I'm training 3 days a week, eating relatively the same foods with a bit more, because you're not going to track your calories for the rest of your life. Even if you don't track your calories, if you say to me, I'm having 4 servings of protein a day, I'm hitting 10,000 steps, I eat plenty of fruit and veg when I can, I train 3 days a week, I drink 3 liters of water, and I try get 7 hours sleep. I supplement a multivitamin, bit more vitamin D and K during the winter, and I take magnesium to improve my sleep quality. That to me is a pretty healthy person. Like, I'm really happy with hearing that. And that just has to be something that's automatic, that you're not even thinking about doing. It just flows. So when fitness becomes an identity, it does stop feeling like effort. We want to remove friction as much as we can. So if we can make fitness become your identity and it's who you are now, then there's no effort, because you're not struggling and battling yourself, wondering, oh, do I want to do this? It's because, no, this is who I am. This is what I have to do. End of story. You don't need motivation to be yourself. And that is something I tell clients all the time. People laugh at the likes of me, Dave, and Keith. Like, let's say, geez, you barely drink. Or let's say, how do you train so much when you work in the gym? You live there. Like, Saturday evening, you're doing podcasting. Sunday morning, you go in and train, like, with Laura. Like, that's just who I am. I don't need motivation for that, because that is me in a nutshell. If you asked, what's my routine look like? That's it on paper. That's who I am. That's what I enjoy. That's what I love doing. Hence why I will stay in shape after losing the weight I lost that time. Now, here's a question for anyone listening. Ask yourself honestly, are you chasing a temporary phase, or are you building a lifestyle? Are you trying to get results, or become the person who naturally keeps them? Because those are two very different paths. What it actually takes to stay in shape. Bit more practicality here now. Flexibility over perfection. People who stay in shape aren't perfect. They adjust. Bad weekend, they're back on it Monday. Missed session, they move on. They don't turn one mistake into a spiral. Consistency over months matters more than perfection for a week. And this is where, on my last podcast, I said consistency beats intensity. Maintenance mindset. You can't diet forever. Staying in shape means learning balance, eating well most of the time, understanding your body, and not being extreme, just controlled. There is nothing wrong with controlling what you eat, staying on track to the type of person you want to become. It doesn't have to be extreme. You can have, like, let's say, a takeaway. You can have a bit of chocolate, everything in moderation when you're at that point of you've gotten in shape. because that's what's going to help you maintain it. If you keep going extreme, you won't maintain it. Even if you go extreme of like keeping up the habits that you had during your deficit and try to stay eating the same foods and stay in the same deficit, you won't maintain your physique. You'll get burnt out, and you'll ask yourself, why the hell am I doing this if I'm not enjoying it? Then you need to train for life. When you're getting in shape, training is all about looks. Nothing wrong with that. I don't dispute that at all. When you're staying in shape, it's actually about life. Energy, strength, mental clarity, confidence. You train because it improves your life, not just your appearance. We all feel better after a gym session, no matter what. I have clients come into me and they're like, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, that's fine. But I know at the end of this, you're going to thank me. And that's what I say to myself as well. I had a story up on this the last day. There's days where I don't want to train. Genuinely, I don't want to train. My inner bitch has talked to me and it's like, oh, I'd love a rest day. But it's like, you've had 2 rest days. You got to train, dude. You're going to feel better. You're going to be thinking clear and you're going to have more mental clarity. I know once I get over that discomfort and train, I feel way better. I'm training for life there. I'm training to clear my head. Running a business, relationships, boyfriend, son, brother relationships, everything I have going on that I am. All these things, training gives me clarity and a clear head for these relationships I'm dealing with and myself and life. I'm training for life there, not just a result. Emotional stability. The biggest difference, you stop relying on motivation. You train when life is stressful. You train when work is busy. You train when you don't feel like it, because fitness isn't something you do when everything is perfect. It's something that helps you handle when things aren't. And that's one thing I love about training. Again, when life gets in the way, times are tough, things are busy. This is something now that I haven't really said publicly to anyone. It's only through conversation that people know from just chatting and making the point. During my fat loss phase in 2024, she won't mind mentioning about it because she's an absolute trooper and she talks about it openly. My mother went through cancer for that whole year. And I had someone say to me that they had to watch me have the best year of my life when they had their worst. And I was like, damn, like, did it really look like, let's say, I was having a good year there because training, getting in shape, doing well, busy at work, but looking better as well. No, training was absolutely my escape and the vice that held me together during all that, because it gave me structure, it gave me discipline. When I didn't want to train, when I kind of felt down, I trained and I felt better. So again, you're not training when everything is perfect. It might look like that, but you're training when things aren't perfect. That's what's keeping you sane. That's you time, that's your alone time, that's where you're deep in thought, and that's where you deal with a lot of things. And then the endorphins after you train, you're always going to feel better. So training during the year 2024 was massive for me, and that's getting in shape, yeah, was class, but the best thing I took from that was like my routine, my discipline. If I can get through that when my mother, family, everyone's going through that mess of cancer, you can get through anything. Harry Graney, the previous podcast guest I had on, he's an absolute beast. He talked about that as well, how training was his vice and his rock during his chemo, during his treatments. 9 days after getting his right arm amputated, the guy's out training. He's an absolute beast. Getting in shape proves that you can change. Staying in shape proves you actually changed. Anyone can push hard for a short period. Very few people can quietly maintain standards for years. That's the real achievement. The real flex isn't getting in shape once. It's never having to start over again. That's, in a nutshell, the difference between getting in shape versus staying in shape. Staying in shape is way more fulfilling and it's a bigger and better achievement. Getting in shape is what gets you started. It's like the burst of motivation, but staying in shape is where the beauty lies, and that's where you become a better person and you develop a physique over the years that is going to look like someone who has stayed in shape. So often people mix that up, and I hope I've given some clarity there now and a clear path towards staying in shape. because it's truly fulfilling. And when you train for life and you train to improve up here, you will never look back. Stop thinking abs, stop thinking veins and getting shredded. That will all come with time. Think, I'm doing this for life. I want to become a better person. I want to be healthier, stronger, fitter. If you're a parent, I want to pick my kids up, not a bother, without any back pain or anything like that. These are just some real life examples. My most successful transformations are clients who are thinking long term. So when you are on the fence about getting in shape, about trying to improve your physique, let's say build muscle, hit a new PR, whatever it is, you need to be thinking, can I do this for life? And if you can, all the best. I have clients that train 1 day a week. They come in and train me 1 day a week. They might run, walk, a bit over time, but like they could be coming to me for the last 3-4 years. They will beat anyone who trains 4 days a week for 6 weeks. Consistency beats intensity all the time, no matter what. Just keep thinking that. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you in the next episode.